No way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. Hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. I'ma rep my city and salute my town. Said ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. I'ma hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. And I'm ready for whatever, and I still stand proud. Ain't no way. Who you think you king, dude? Never thought that I would do.
What up, though? It is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313, and we are back with another week of Wrestling from the 313. And as always, we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. This episode is brought to you by WSN. Go check them out on if you have Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick. Download the app. Lots of cool stuff you can check out, wrestling documentaries, wrestling shows from indie promotions, a lot of cool stuff. Also go to the wrestlingsociety.com, go to the website, get a sign up for a free account, check out all the content that they have on there. Go to the podcast room where you see a lot of great wrestling podcasts such as myself and my guest. He has his podcast on there. And also Patreon, that we WSN is also on Patreon. You can go ahead and join them for free. But to get the cool exclusive stuff, they got a lot of membership options, and a lot of it is cool. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, also I also want to announce that this is episode 70 of Wrestling from the 313. It just seemed not too long ago I was doing episode 50. So, you know, it just feel good to be doing this many episodes, and anybody that's been watching and supporting and stuff, I appreciate the love, and just continue to support. So my guest, he's one half of the co-host of the Card Subject to Change podcast. He's also one of the co-hosts of the No Sale Roundtable with Joe Monroe. The Wizard CZ, what up, though? Welcome to Wrestling from the 313.
I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here.
No problem, no problem. And before we came on, you got a real big announcement. This is an exclusive here on Wrestling from the 313. If any of your followers or supporters are watching, they get to hear your big announcement. So here you go. The floor is yours.
I am excited for this. We've been in talks for this for several months and just never really came to fruition. But at the end of the year, we will be leaving the For Frequency's Sake podcast network to become another show on the Wrestling Society Network. Super excited to be a part of WSN coming up this January.
That's what's up. Congratulations, and welcome to the family. You know, I'm a member of WSN too, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? So you know, good luck with everything, and hopefully, you know, we still can continue to collab on this show or your show or whatever show we end up on.
Absolutely, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm happy that we just told the powers that be at FFSQC that we're leaving this weekend, and so I figured I'd give you the exclusive announcement, and we're looking forward to a bright future. Always going to have a lot of love for Frequency's Sake. They were our first home. They gave us our beginning, Nick and I. So never going to have a bad thing to say about them. I love those guys. This was a chance and an opportunity to grow.
Definitely. And hey, it's no problem there's nothing wrong with trying to grow and build your brand.
Not at all. And I'm excited to do that.
Definitely. So let's get things started. So for anyone who might not know you yet, how did you first get started in the podcasting and just in the wrestling community, period?
So as far as the wrestling community, I've been a fan since I was a kid. I grew up in the Hogan era. The Mega Powers explosion is my first big memory of wrestling. Did kind of fall off for a couple different times for a few years, but I've always come back, always gravitated back. I've been a part of the independent wrestling community off and on for about 12 years now. I used to ring announce at a local company. Since the podcast has come into being, I have connections with a couple companies here in Iowa that are a couple hours away that we do things with. On occasion, we'll go out to their show, run a live before they get their show started. But as far as the start of Card Subject to Change, my co-host Nick and I have known each other for probably 20 years, I want to say at this point, maybe not quite.
Oh, wow.
We work in television together at a local TV station.
Okay.
And we became friends because of wrestling. We both shared the morning shift and would always talk about pretty much anything wrestling. I was kind of the go-to guy. I had, before the network came into being, WWE 24/7 through our local cable provider.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So I would record everything I could, not just for myself, but for my friends that are in the wrestling community at my old TV station. So I say had because my copy of the collection got ruined somewhere in a move, so I don't have the DVDs anymore. Okay. Nick still has them all though. But we kind of grew apart for a little bit. Not maliciously, just life happens. We separated for a few years, and then I started working at my current job. I met DJ, who we refer to as the tribal chief over on For Frequency's Sake, because that's what he likes. Personally, I refer to him as All Ego DJ. But now one day he and I also became friends because of wrestling. And one day he said, "Hey, I've got someone who I've been talking about doing a wrestling podcast with, and I think you'd be perfect fit for him." And little did I know that it was Nick Bull, my co-host, that he was talking about. So he's like, "Do you know Nick Bull?" I'm like, "Do I? I haven't talked to him in years, but yeah, I know him." And pretty much the rest is history from there. We kind of talked about what our format was going to be and what the name of the show, and got the logo together, and it just kind of came together from there.
That's what's up. And how long have you guys been doing the podcast?
Our first episode dropped August 1st of 2022, so just over 3 years.
Oh, wow. That's what's up. Yeah, that's about around the time that I started my podcast. Like, I want to say probably like April of 2022 or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a long time. It don't even seem that long, but it's been a grind, but it's been a fun grind. So I got no complaints.
One thing Nick and I pride ourselves on is if we're not having fun, then we're going to stop doing it. And we've been having fun for the last 3.5 years, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
Definitely. I feel you. So I know you said you grew up watching wrestling in the Hogan era. Who was some of your favorites?
That's tough. Hogan always was in my childhood years. As I grew into an adult and kind of knew who the person was, I kind of gravitated away, but definitely a big Macho Man fan. Jake the Snake has to be up there. His promo work. Everybody's yelling and screaming, and in a world where everybody's yelling their heads off, Jake is sitting there with that low rumbling whisper. How can you not like him?
Yeah. I grew up in that same era too, and I was pretty much a fan of everybody. I mean, like you said, everybody was a fan of Hulk Hogan. That's who, like, was probably the first wrestler that everybody gravitated to because he was the star. He was the one that they was trying to build the company around or whatever. But it was just like all the characters. I'm one of them wrestling fans. Like, I don't hate a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can be not a top heel. You could be like one of the lower mid-card heels. But if it's something about you that's entertaining, I'm a like. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so, I agree.
I was always a fan of Roddy Piper, $1 Million Man, Andre the Giant. I kind of caught Andre the Giant at the tail end of his career. And, of course, that was like after WrestleMania 3.
Right.
and he did stuff with Jake the Snake. I also think he did stuff with Ultimate Warrior and stuff. But yeah, that was like the golden era, and that was the era that got wrestling started. And I think if it wasn't for that era, wrestling wouldn't be where it is right now.
I completely agree. I mean,
So,
my major area that I love the most is the Attitude Era.
oh yeah,
So The
definitely.
Rock, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, and DX, all of that, everything about that. And then I kind of followed both during the Monday Night War. I would flip between. I wouldn't flip between. Here in my area, they would show Nitro on a repeat after Raw went off the air. So I would flip over and watch that and stay up super late Monday nights watching the repeat.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Actually, I think I would still take Nitro because I think at one point when WCW was real hot and they were killing them in the ratings, I think I was just watching straight WCW. I might switch over one or two times to WWF. And then when WWF started gaining that momentum and started beating them in the ratings, then it was like, okay, I got to go back to WWF. And
Right.
then it was like, once the WCW product went down, when like Russo and Bischoff that took over, and they changed that the WC logo to, I don't know, it looked like a ninja star or something like that. That's
I haven't. I've heard Tony Schiavone refer to it, and I apologize if this is inappropriate. He refers to it as the exploding vagina logo.
you, hey, you know what? Hey, I no comment. No comment at all.
Kind of what I thought when I first heard it, but yeah, I can't unhear it now, and I can't unsee it whenever I look at that logo.
Yeah, I don't even know why they changed it. Like that was like the worst logo ever for a wrestling promotion, in my opinion.
Kind of reflected the time they were in, though. You know, the
Yeah,
period where everything was going downhill.
yeah, pretty much. I think a lot of things. I think everybody can like count on their hands all the stuff that killed WCW. But I
Yeah,
would say honestly, the one thing that I think killed WCW when Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn went over to WWF, all on top of the Big Show and Chris Jericho. You
yeah,
basically lost your future, the future of WCW, or as the word AEW like to use, the pillars of WCW or whatever. Like you basically, yeah, like I said, once they lost them, they future, they hard workers, it was a wrap.
I agree. I agree. And I think they saw the writing on the wall. I think they knew they were never going to be put into that big star role just
Yeah.
because of the way WCW was run. And it's unfortunate because they all deserve to be there, as they proved when they went over to WWE.
Oh yeah, definitely agree. So your show covers wrestling past, present, and future. Um, which era do you personally enjoy talking about the most and why? And I know you just said the Attitude Era is one of your
That
favorites.
if we're talking about history, the Attitude Era is right up there. But what I really love, the thing that we've kind of grown into, or not kind of, we've really grown into, is we interview stars from the indies
Mm-hmm.
who are just up and coming. Some of them who have been around for a while but haven't quite made it into the big leagues. But I like to find stars from across the Midwest, and if I can, other areas of the country. I'm trying to expand that as best I can, uh, just to hear their stories,
Yeah.
why they got into the business, how they got into the business, and some of the things that they've done in their time.
Oh yeah,
That's really what I love the most about the show.
definitely. And I that's what I like about just podcasting. Period. Like it's an opportunity for the people in the indies, whether you're on a local podcast or just somewhere outside of your area, it's an opportunity to get your name out there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've had independent wrestlers on my show, and it's like you don't know who's watching. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's just an opportunity for you to get your name and get your voice out there. And I think that's just what's like just cool about independent wrestling, because it's just so much opportunity for everybody.
Yes. I love that. I absolutely love it. And we've had people from as far south as I want to say Georgia. We're starting to get people from the Dakotas, South Dakota particularly. Had a couple interviews. We've got a couple coming up after the start of the year from that area. So getting people as much as we can to expand throughout the nation. And I'm excited. Like I said at the beginning, it's all about growth. And
Definitely.
we're looking forward to bringing in more fans and bringing in better interview, or not better, more interviews, unique interviews from places we aren't familiar with.
Definitely. That's what's up. Yeah, and that's one of the things. That's one of my goals for wrestling from the 313 going into 2026. Is just to interview more wrestlers, and you know what I'm saying. Definitely from my area, give them an opportunity to just tell people who they are, and hopefully that can get them bookings, and just open up doors for them. That's all.
Exactly.
So, what's one interview or moment from Car Subject to Change that really stands out as memorable or impactful for you?
There's a lot of great moments. Memorable. We've had a couple of bigger guests. We've had short interviews with Buff Bagwell, Mick Foley, the Headbangers, just to name a few. They've given us 10 to 15 minutes of their time. Jake Christ, I don't know if you're familiar from his ROH or TNA days. He's a former X Division champion. We interviewed him about a year and a half ago. That was a lot of fun. There's a quote that stands out in my mind. He's from the Midwest. He's an Illinois-based wrestler. His name is Christian Rose. Highly recommend if you have IWTV, check out Dreamwave. He's prominent there and he's fantastic. But he came on the show, and when we talked about why he got into pro wrestling, he told a story about how when he was young, he would watch wrestling. He watched the match between Jake and Macho Man where the snake bit Macho.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he says, I want to do that to his mom, and his mom goes, "What, you wanna be like the Macho Man, walk around going, oh yeah?" And he goes, "No, I want to be the one throwing snakes at people." Probably my favorite quote from the 3.5 years we've been doing this. I don't know. It's hard to pick though. There's so many good memories that we've had. It's kind of hard to narrow down, but definitely meeting, legends like Foley, like Bagwell, things like that stand out. But the local guests as well have given us some gems that stand out to me also.
That's what's up. And to get those type of interviews and in the little time that you've been doing your podcast, that's really good. That's real good.
It's just been a matter of luck, really.
Yeah. Hey, luck is on y'all side. That's what's up.
Opportunities came up, and we made some contacts, and it just snowballed from there. So
definitely. So you've talked to a lot of talent. What do you look for in a good guest, and what makes an episode really click?
Stories. If someone is a good talker and they have a lot of good stories, that's really, because we can sit down. We try and keep things around an hour just to be respectful of everybody's time.
Mm-hmm.
If the hour goes by fast because the guest was sharing a lot of information, that's a really good episode. If they have really good stories that you wouldn't hear anywhere else, that's really good. Things like that. And one thing that my co-host really is into, he will ask what everybody is watching, what people are watching. Shout out to the Brothers of Discussion podcast. They're helping us get up to 1,200 followers. So I think we're almost there. Last I checked.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Congratulations. And yeah, shout out to Brothers of Discussion podcast. And also Jesse James left a comment on there too. Shout out to him. What's going on, fellas?
But one of Nick's favorite things to ask is what people are watching, because Nick will go down a rabbit hole of anything he finds interesting. So right now he's on a big 80s wrestling kick. Someone will say one of their favorite shows or matches, and he'll just go right to it.
That's what's up. So how do you guys balance nostalgia with keeping up on everything happening in modern wrestling, especially with so many promotions and shows today?
It's tough. We're running a show called The Kickout for a short period of time. We got about 40 episodes, and then it just kind of fell off because of time. But we would discuss current product and just general discussion topics that would come up and be relevant at the time of the show. We have been reviewing pretty much every major pay-per-view between AEW and WWE. As we go into 2026, we're going to lessen that a little bit, because we want to focus not only on the interviews, but more on just discussion topics. Some of the episodes we've done that cover like nostalgic things, we've reviewed several older shows, like off the top of my head, Slamboree 2000, SummerSlam 92. Every winter we have what we call our ugly sweater party, where we pick one of the worst pay-per-views. This will be the third year we've done it. So that's coming up here actually next week on Sunday for us. But with that, so far we've looked at December to Dismember, which is one of the most awful pay-per-views. I will never sit through it again if I don't have to.
Was that the WWE ECW version?
Yes, with the Hardcore Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. I remember that. Bobby Lashley won the ECW title, didn't he?
I believe so.
I think so.
Been a couple years since I've watched it. Like I said, if I don't have to go back to it, I probably never will.
Yeah.
Last year we talked about 95 King of the Ring. That's the one where Mabel won the King of the Ring.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
This year we're kind of going with an independent show. It's called Heroes of Wrestling. You can find it on YouTube.
Okay.
The way Nick's presented it is don't read anything about it. Go watch the show, tune into our review for it, and after you watch the show is when you want to read up about it, because you want to see the train wreck before you dig into it.
That's what's up. So real quick, and I know you co-host the No Sale Roundtable with Joe Monroe. Shout out to Joe Monroe. How did that come about?
So I met Joe through Crander Q, Friends of the Squared Circle.
Shout out to Crander Q.
Indirectly, and Joe and I just, we've chatted about wrestling for, I think it's been about a year now since I was introduced to him, and he just one day invited me on one of the roundtables, and I would keep coming on every couple of weeks whenever I was available, and he just decided. He just asked me one day, "Do you want to be the permanent co-host?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, whenever I'm available." Which I haven't been for the last month or so because my Fridays have been a little booked. Okay. But I'm looking forward to getting back on with Joe. I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun there.
That's what's up. Yeah, because I noticed you guys, y'all have a lot of discussions on like the territory days, like the NWA days and stuff like that, which is interesting. So who has more of the background and the knowledge of that? Is that more of you or more Joe? Or is it kind of like in between?
Way more Joe.
Okay.
Those shows are a learning experience for me. I will do a little research if I have time, and then I just kind of absorb and chime in whenever I can.
Yeah, because it's just so much history in wrestling. Like like the NWA, like those NWA days, there's so many territories and stuff. It's just like, where do you start? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you guys do a pretty good job, a real good job, just discussing and talking about that time in wrestling. Like a lot of people, if you're not like a real big wrestling fan like we are, you know what I'm saying, you might not be as hit on the territorial days. So like you guys talking about that and just discussing that, that's dope.
And Joe has been he did it for a while and then kind of stopped, but he started back up again doing a history of wrestling on
Yeah,
his YouTube channel.
yeah,
Highly recommend checking those out because he's got a lot of knowledge and shares it about a lot of different places. So it's worth your time. And they're not long episodes. I think
yeah,
15-20 minutes is all he does for those.
yeah,
You know, definitely worth checking out.
yeah. And I think that's the one cool thing about podcasting and just having like wrestling discussions and stuff like that, like and just meeting people in the wrestling community. Like everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? But everybody is not. There's no right, there's no wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because and then it's like you can learn from different people. Like you can learn from Joe because of his knowledge of the territorials, and he can learn from you. If you are more knowledgeable on the Attitude Era or the golden era more than he is. So it's just, I think that's pretty cool with just the wrestling community. Period.
I agree. There's so much you can learn and get to know from the wrestling community as a whole. That's one of the big reasons we do the interviews, like I said, just to learn more about wrestlers and things that they grew up watching, things that they enjoy in the wrestling world.
Definitely, definitely. So, what's one topic or storyline in wrestling you could talk about for hours and never get tired
Ooh.
of? That
Ooh.
sounds like a lot.
Yeah, there's probably a few. Um, it's not one that I have as much knowledge about right now. I think I've forgotten more than I know about it, but one of my favorite things during the Attitude Era was the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah,
Up
yeah,
until it became the corporate ministry, then it kind of got a little iffy. But
yeah,
uh, Taker with all of his minions and the Lord of Darkness thing, putting Stephanie and Stone Cold on the cross symbol.
yeah.
The visuals there are just amazing. I have a lot of fun talking about that. That's the big one. Obviously, recently the bloodline has been a big thing. I know we talked quite a bit about that as everything was unfolding on Card Subject to Change.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We even did, we called it a biopsy, a bloodline biopsy a couple years ago.
Right.
Just kind of running down. We did this just after Sami Zayn turned. I think it was right before the Elimination Chamber match between him and Roman
Okay.
is when we did that. So that was a fun episode too.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, because I think a topic that I could talk about for hours. I don't know. Probably the whole Monday Night Wars.
Yes,
I think that to me, outside of the golden era, that was probably the best time in wrestling, the Monday Night Wars, because it was like it was just that one thing. You a fan of both, and you flipping channels to see which show was going to be better, and whichever one you were watching, and it got to the point that you were watching it at that time and it started getting good, you stuck with that channel. You
yep,
stuck with that show or whatever. So I think for me, just talking about the Monday Night Wars, and for me, a little bit just like the GOAT conversations in wrestling, you know, is so many people that you could put in the GOAT conversation. And
very much.
I know, John Cena with him retiring, I know a lot of people have been putting him in the GOAT conversation. A lot of people have been saying he's the greatest of all time. But then you got that old school audience that's Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, big Stone Cold fans, they don't think so. You know what I'm saying? They still
Yeah,
want to hold on to those guys, but it's like me being a fan and growing up and just being in all the eras. Excuse me. Um, he deserves to be there. He definitely deserves to be there, and he surpassed. And it's crazy to say because it's like Hulk Hogan was the guy, but then when Stone Cold came in, he kind of surpassed Hogan as far as like the merchandise and the popularity. Then Cena came along, and you could kind of say that he kind of surpassed Hogan. He might have surpassed Stone Cold, but it's just like he deserves to be in that GOAT conversation, definitely.
I agree. I know one of the big hotbed topics is people's Mount Rushmore. And we've done some Mount Rushmore topics like tag teams, and we did an ROH episode. But it's hard to put a Mount Rushmore together because there's so many good talents out there that that deserve to be on there.
Yeah,
I can look at it more in eras than anything else. Like I could probably put one together for the golden era, for the attitude era, and things like that. But to do an overall one, it's so hard. Who is the greatest? Who's your number one to go on there? It's all subjective, and it's all so difficult because of the number of choices out there.
yeah. I think my Mount Rushmore is pretty simple. It's like, and like you said, this, and then I think it also depends on the era that you grew up in too. You know what I'm saying? Because like for me, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, and I would say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's a great list.
Yeah, I would say Ric Flair, just being a 17-time world champion. Well, and from what they say, he's been a world champion at least 21, 22 times or whatever, but WWE only counts 16.
Right.
You could put him on there. Hulk Hogan, just for what he did for wrestling overall. Undertaker, because of the longevity. And I think Stone Cold, just because like he was that star that kind of put that rocket on the Attitude Era. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
And I think, like I said, even around that time when like TV was changing with like Jerry Springer and stuff like that, when he made that character change to Stone Cold, like he became big in pop culture also. Like Stone Cold was doing ESPN commercials. He was on that show, was that Walker, Texas Ranger?
Yep.
Yep, he was on there. And he was big too. So I would definitely put him on there, but you could also put The Rock on that list. You could put Bret Hart. You could put Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Randy Orton, Edge, Bruno Sammartino. It's a lot of guys that go on that list.
Yep.
So I think, like you said, a lot of people's Mount Rushmore is really just based on who their fan does, and like you said, opinion.
Oh, without a doubt. It's fun to discuss, but it's hard for me to put pen to paper and decide who I would put where.
Yeah.
You mentioned Stone Cold being big in pop culture. That's one thing that I've always been amazed with the Austin 316 shirts and the NWO shirts. Those went beyond wrestling.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to a school back in those days without seeing both of those shirts floating around somewhere.
Yeah. And definitely DX, they shirts were big. And when The Rock started getting real popular too, the Layeth the Smacketh Down t-shirts and I think the Just Bring It t-shirt, those were big back in the day too.
Very much so. Very much so.
And then another reason why I say that guys like Stone Cold and guys like John Cena kind of surpassed Hulk Hogan, their movies were better too. Their movies were better. Like for real. I think the best Hulk Hogan movie was probably No Holds Barred and Rocky 3.
Okay.
To me, those were the best ones that that were kind of like serious, or you can kind of tolerate. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think a dude gonna be at home and be like, you know what, I want to watch Suburban Commando. You know what I'm saying?
I
Or
don't know. That one always has a place in my heart. Maybe way more so than Mr. Nanny. That one was a little
Mr.
bit.
Nanny, yeah. And a lot of people, and I know you probably know this. The Undertaker was in Suburban Commando too.
Yes.
He was the one of the little bodyguards that never talked.
And wasn't was the other one? The other one was somebody big too. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I'm blanking on it. But they're both those bounty hunters were wrestlers. I just don't remember the who was with the Undertaker.
Yeah. And it was funny because Undertaker said something towards the end of the movie, but he said it in like a kid voice or whatever.
Yes.
But that just show you, like, man, Undertaker he's been around for a long time, and
Very.
not just in WWF, but in WCW. He was what was it, Mark Callis? That was his name? And Paul. Yeah, Paul Heyman was his manager. Yeah, so he been around for a real long time.
Someone else has been around for a while, Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, definitely, and well, I think 13. No, I can't think of who it was, but I know they supposed to be having a tournament for like manager of the year or something like that, and they were just asking me like who was the favorites on my favorite managers of all time, and I definitely had Paul Heyman number one. He might be the best manager of all time.
Yes. I mean, Bobby Heenan was amazing. He'd probably be number 2 on my list, but I love Heenan more for his commentary than for managing.
Yeah, definitely. And you gotta look at it like this: Paul Heyman managed what, like 3 world champions?
Yeah.
He managed Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk.
Yes.
And you might as well say Seth Rollins for a little bit before they turned on him.
And
So
soon to be Braun Breaker.
And soon to be Braun Breaker. So
strap a rocket to that kid.
Huh?
Strap a rocket to that kid. He is a star.
Yeah. And I heard one of his promo from yesterday going in on CM Punk too, and it's just like, man, they might have to put the title on him Saturday because I think he's wrestling CM Punk on Saturday night's main event.
Not yet. Not until the first Monday Raw of
got it.
I think that's when you pull. I don't know. That's tough because he wasn't in that battle royal when Rollins was injured because they didn't want to give it to him on a Saturday night's main event. They wanted to give it to him on a bigger show from everything that I've heard.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that first Raw of the year is going to be big enough. I don't know if they wait till Mania or do it then. It's tough.
I see WrestleMania.
That's where I would put it on him. I would build it out to Mania.
Yep. And then it's just like, there's just one of them things people always are kind of upset about with WWE is that they don't build new stars, and this is the opportunity right here for Braun Breaker.
Exactly.
So as independent wrestling continues to grow, what do you feel is the biggest strength of the indie scene right now?
I think the number of opportunities that the indie wrestlers have right now, there's so many promotions out there.
Yeah.
Even like here in Iowa, there's at least 4 or 5 that run on a regular basis. But you can go to any state in the country and you can find multiple promotions to get your name booked on. You just got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely. And real quick, I know you had mentioned what are some of the top promotions in your area?
So right in our backyard is SCW Pro, which is linked to Seth Rollins' school, Black and Brave.
Oh yeah.
I can't name promotions in Iowa without mentioning them because of the connection with Black and Brave. Um, they do a good job. They do a good job because they bring in. They haven't brought in as much new talent with the trainees as I would hope, but a lot of trainees will come and then go back to their own area to work.
Okay.
Absolute Pro Wrestling is one of my favorite promotions here in the area. They do a fantastic job. They let us come in and do a pre-show whenever they're in one of the towns that's closer to here than where they run elsewhere. Probably the promotion that puts on the biggest show of the year is going to be Central Empire Wrestling.
Okay.
They have a festival show basically, with a bunch of meet and greets and a big wrestling show. It's been in September the last couple of years. Not sure where it'll fall next year, but brought in names like Scott Steiner, Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell. Those were a couple years ago. Last year, Godfather was there, Jacqueline, and then some veteran talents that like Frankie Kazarian was there.
Okay.
So someone who hadn't quite made it into like the WWE, but Frankie Kazarian was good. Masha Slamovich was there. That was a lot of fun meeting her.
Cool.
So
that's what's up. So
I try and go to that every year if I can.
Real quick, because I know Seth Rollins is from Iowa. How big is he in Iowa and like as far as like giving back to the wrestling scene?
I think pretty big with the fact that he's got the school,
okay,
especially. So I think that's a big part of him giving back to the wrestling scene. In fact, I'd say that's probably the biggest part. I know he does a lot of charity work, but I can't think of off the top of my head what charities he works with here in town. But definitely Black and Brave is the biggest contribution to the wrestling world right now.
That's what's up. So going into 2026, what can fans expect next from Card Subject to Change? Any upcoming guests or plans you could tease?
So we've got, like I said, we're moving over to WSN. First episode will be January 4th. We go every Sunday, or try to go every Sunday at 6:30 Central Time. Trying to think who I've got booked. I know during the month of January we've got a gentleman by the name of DeLorean Diggs coming on. He's out of South Dakota.
Okay, cool.
I've seen a couple of his matches and he looks fantastic. He was recommended to us about a year and a half ago to get on, and we've had so many people that we've wanted to get on. It's just he kind of got lost in the shuffle. So I'm glad to finally have him on. Nick, like I said, Nick and I talked about more focus on discussion shows when we're not doing interviews. Mm-hmm. So we're going to pull back a little bit on the big pay-per-view review. So we'll probably do Nick's big four are Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank. He does not consider Survivor Series to be one of the big four anymore, and I can understand why. So those are probably what we're going to review on the WWE side. AEW, All In, All Out, Double or Nothing. And then we're not sure what that fourth one is going to be, but we want to give equal footing to both companies.
Sweet. And I still think that Survivor Series is still a big four. I think when they moved it to San Diego in the baseball stadium, I think that's just the beginning for Survivor Series. I think that they're going to treat them like they do all the big four. Honestly, if you ask me, I think it really should be a big five, and I think Money in the Bank should be that fifth pay-per-view. What I would like to see with Survivor Series, I would like to see, of course, they'll keep the War Games matches, but I would like to see at least one traditional Survivor Series match. I
Yes.
think at least keep the tradition going with the
And
elimination matches.
I know they did one on SmackDown the night before, but that's not the same as having it on the actual card.
It's not. It's not. And a lot of people, and I know you remember this, back in the day in the 80s and the early 90s, Survivor Series used to be on Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes.
Thanksgiving Eve. And I like I said, that was like Survivor Series was one of my favorite pay-per-views back in the day, because it was like you saw these different teams. You saw guys come together that you wouldn't even think would be in a tag team. And
People who have no business being on the same team with each other.
Exactly. And then, of course, Survivor Series, we saw the debut of The Undertaker.
Yep.
And he won his first WWE Championship at Survivor Series, which was in Detroit at the old Joe Louis Arena.
Awesome. Very awesome. There's so much history with Survivor Series. I agree with you. I think it should be a big 5 instead of a big 4. Money in the Bank has definitely become one of their biggest shows of the year. But Survivor Series, I think Survivor Series is the bottom of that top 5 shows.
Yep.
And I hate to say that because of the tradition behind it.
Yeah.
But the other 4 that I can think of that we've named are so much bigger now than they've ever been.
Definitely. If I had to rank all 5, it would be WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and then Survivor Series.
So I can kind of switch. I can go back. I can go back and forth between SummerSlam and Rumble. I can switch those around. They're interchangeable to me.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
And the Rumble's one of the best events of the year.
Yeah,
one of the best matches of the year, I should say.
Yeah, because that kind of like plant the seeds for WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we talked about your journey in the wrestling community. We talked about the podcast. Before we get up out of here, we're gonna talk a little what's going on in the WWE scene. So one of the big things that I wouldn't say it caught people by surprise. I think this is what people wanted, and I think a lot of people are happy. The Usos have reunited. They are back in the tag team division. They came out and basically told AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, we coming for the belts. What's your thoughts on them reuniting? Do you think that this is something that should have happened, or what's your thoughts?
I think it should have happened. I think it was time. Jay's single run was pretty lackluster for the most part. His championship reign was not the greatest ever. I don't think he was quite ready to hold that weight on his shoulders. But I understand why he was. He's the whole yeet thing, getting the crowd involved in his entrance, in his matches. He drives merchandise, and that's one of the big deciding factors for who they're going to put at the top of the card.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think this was well timed, especially since the Raw tag division, in my opinion, is somewhat lacking.
Yeah, I agree.
SmackDown has the way better tag division, and hopefully the Usos coming back together will breathe some life into the Raw tag division.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely need a boost. And I just think right now with Roman being on Raw, you got CM Punk, you got the Vision, you building up that group. I just think right now that Jay Uso would just be caught in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And he'd really be doing nothing but taking losses to whoever that they want to push at that time. So I think it was a good idea. And then Jimmy Uso needed something to do too.
Yeah.
Because since they was doing this whole split, like they haven't really done nothing with him. He was kind of like the lackey of the bloodline, taking all the choke slams and kicks and stuff like that after Jay left. And then once Solo kicked him out, it was like once he came back, it was like, what's next for him? You know what I'm saying? they never really gave him a chance to kind of like build his own character away from, Jay Uso's Yeet gimmick or whatever. Because I kind of felt like he kind of got the energy from Jay Uso's character, and it kind of helped him a little bit.
Let me ask you something about Jey Uso. And going back to War Games, what was your opinion of him rolling back his entrance music in the middle of the War Games match?
It was funny, but I didn't think it was necessary.
I didn't either.
It wasn't necessary, especially at that time and what was going on. Like, come on, you got Brock Lesnar on the opposite team. You need to be taking this serious, bro. And then while he was doing that, that's when Brock's music came out. But yeah, I think it didn't need to happen. And you could kind of tell, like, when that happened, that I wouldn't say that was the end, but I think people was fed up with Jey Uso.
I think you're right. And I'm sitting here, I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, when he does the little roll it back thing, I'm like, you're in the middle of a match where everybody is kicking the crap out of each other with weapons inside a cage, and you're gonna roll back the Yeet music? Come on.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that his gimmick is gonna fit good with his brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that they'll be all right as come reuniting as a tag team. And it won't be long before they have the tag team titles again.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
So let's talk about this Saturday. And if you think about it, the last 4 weekends has been nothing but wrestling. Like we had AEW, and after AEW had their pay-per-view, it was Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. Last week, NXT had their pay-per-view. Now we got Saturday night's main event. This episode is going to have John Cena's last match, and it's also going to have a real nice NXT presence. Obafemi's going up against Cody Rhodes. Sol Ruka's going up against Bayley. Javon Evans, and what's the X Division champion name?
Leon Slater.
They're going up against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee.
That's going to be a fantastic match.
Definitely. So it's going to be a big NXT presence. Do you think that this is just the showcase for the guys they about to call up?
I think a little bit. I was a little surprised that Oba won back the NXT championship, not because he doesn't deserve it, but because I had the feeling he was going to get called up pretty soon. So maybe he loses it again here in the next month or so. But no, I think this is a showcase of people that are on their way up into the main roster.
Yeah.
And Ruka, her finisher, that flipping cutter, oh my, that is one of the best finishers out there today. Yeah.
And I've been in past couple of months, that's all I've been reading is that they high on Obafemi. WWE is high on Sol Ruka. And I've been hearing that they definitely high on Javon Evans.
Yes.
So I could definitely see, I think this is definitely a showcase. But it's like you said, and I agree that them putting the title back on Obafemi and then putting Javon Evans in a title match with Obafemi is just kind of like, it kind of seemed like they on that verge of being called up. So they must have something planned. And then Tony D'Angelo returns Saturday too. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fits into this whole story also.
I agree. Tony D is so underrated. I wish they would do more with him. I'm glad he got some time off because that storyline, there wasn't much after that he could do, but nice to see him back, and I'm anxious to see where he goes. I would definitely like to see Javon win the NXT title before he comes up to the main roster and hold it for a little bit.
Yeah.
He deserves it. That kid is amazing.
Yeah. And the whole crazy part about it, he's not nothing but 21.
Yeah.
21. Like, if he stays healthy and you know what I'm saying, just luck is on his side. This dude can have a lot of longevity in wrestling. But of course, he won't be able to, like, as he get older, he won't be able to do all the flips and stuff. But
Right.
he has a lot of potential in this business.
Agreed. Agreed. He is such a huge star with a lot of athleticism. I'm anxious to see where he goes too.
Yeah. And I hope, like, if So Ruka is on her way to being called up, put her in the mid card title picture soon. Like, they need somebody to kind of like put a spark for the U.S. women's title, or the
Yes.
women's intercontinental title. Real
I
quick,
think her and Chelsea would be good dance partners, really.
yeah, I think her and Chelsea would be better, because I think right now they're doing the whole thing with Maxine Dupree and Natalia, her training in the dungeon. Real quick, what do you think about those vignettes?
I don't know what to think of them. They're pretty interesting, and it gives Maxine something to do while she's not on air defending the title. Kind of shows her, coming into her own a bit and building up her repertoire in the ring. So I don't mind them. I think they're decent. It just I don't know if it's something that I kind of tune in on when they're on, like
Yeah,
fully focus. You know what I mean?
right, right, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that her, when she finally comes back on the show and defends the title or have a match, I think we're gonna see a totally different Maxine Dupree. And I hope that this Natalia that we've been seeing, like, out in the indies, was that blood sport and stuff like that. I hope they put that version of Natalia on the main roster.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah, she deserves it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I know that she been kind of like doing the whole family thing, keeping the heart tradition going. But it would be cool to kind of see her in a different gimmick.
Right. I completely agree.
So our last topic, we're gonna talk about, of course, the match of the night on Saturday, Gunther versus John Cena. Um, this tournament, man, I didn't really think it was needed.
No.
I didn't think it helped anybody. If it helped anybody, I would probably say somebody like Javon Evans or Carmelo Hayes, because it gave them an opportunity to kind of, it gave them opportunity in the ring and stuff like that, and kind of showcase what they can do. But I also think it hurt guys like Jay Uso and LA Knight, because they took another loss. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they just kept taking losses and losses. And even though LA Knight went to the finals, the way he just got beat by Gunther, it was just like, man, they could have put Sheamus in the finals. And, or I know Sheamus had got injured or whatever, but they
Right.
could have put somebody that, if they got beat, it wouldn't hurt them as much.
I can agree with that. I definitely think that LA Knight has been hurting a lot with where they've been booking him. He's just not coming across strong, and he is a man who should have the world championship around his waist at some point before he retires.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And is, I don't know why they can't get it right with him, because it's like he already come off a little bit as a mixture of The Rock and Stone Cold,
Yep.
and it was like they gave him that momentum, but I think they kind of hurt his momentum when he was the U.S. champion, and they let him lose to Nakamura, and then 2 weeks later he got the title back, and then lost it a couple months later at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And then it was just like, it was just kind of hard for him to get that momentum. And then it was like they would show, like they would flirt with, like, okay, we gonna build him back up, but it seemed like every time they did it, they brought him back down.
And it's sad to watch because the fans have always been behind him,
Yeah,
and the machine just isn't.
yeah. Sometimes this is like, sometimes I wish that, like, they would reshuffle. They would kind of like rebrand NXT to like a real third brand, where like some of them guys on Raw and SmackDown that are not getting the pushes or won't are not gonna get a push on Raw and SmackDown, you could kind of put it could kind of be WWE's AEW if that makes sense. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And kind of have Evolve as the new developmental instead of having Evolve as the developmental to get called up to NXT. I think Evolve should just be the developmental period, and NXT should kind of be rebranded. It was like if they kind of rebranded it and kind of like put stars from like Raw and SmackDown, put LA Knight on there and let him be the NXT champion or something.
yeah,
Like I don't know. Like that's the only way. That's the only like major title that I see him winning so far because it's like Punk's got the title, Braun Breaker is the next guy in line. On SmackDown, Cody is the champion, and from what it looks like, Rome is going to be wrestling him at WrestleMania.
that's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah. So, real quick, what do you think about the Gunther John Cena match? Who do you think is going to win, or who do you think should win?
I think Gunther was the right choice for his final match. And honestly, I see Gunther coming out on top because Cena's the kind of guy who is going to do the right thing. And traditionally, if you're retiring, you're looking up at the lights in your last match.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally, I've said this on other shows, I've said it on Card Subject to Change. I think that Gunther retiring Cena will only lead to other similar angles because he's retired Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to retire Cena. AJ Styles is on his way out the door.
Yep.
Randy Orton doesn't have much time left, I don't think. I bet he retires in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
He's still in tremendous shape, but he's been doing this for a long time. So CM Punk is probably not going to be around for a whole lot longer.
That's true. Yeah.
So let Gunther be the guy that retires people for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Kind of a throwback to Randy's Legend Killer gimmick.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, keep it real with you. When Seth Rollins got injured and he dropped the title, that was the perfect time to put it on LA Knight right there. I don't see CM Punk at this point in his career. He doesn't. If he's not a world champion, I don't think people would be upset.
I don't either.
I think LA Knight needed that championship more than CM Punk did.
Punk is one of those people that is going to be over whether he's holding a title or not.
Definitely. And then I think you could have built LA Knight, built him as a champion in WrestleMania. It could have been LA Knight versus Braun Breaker. You know what I'm saying? It could have been something new. And I understand that, you know, with WrestleMania, you want to have your top guys, you want to have your top stars on the card. You want to bring in as many people, you want to make as much money, but you still got to remember that you still got to build some of these guys. You got to put some of these guys in the top spots. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the people one of the things that people that watch wrestling or watch WWE are upset about is that they don't push new stars.
Yeah. And there's a couple of guys that come to mind that could have been pushed to the moon and just haven't.
Yeah.
Top on my list has got to be Austin Theory.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That kid's got a lot of talent, and they've just squandered that.
I definitely agree with that. Speaking of Austin Theory, so the whole thing with the mask guy from Survivor Series, he was also on Raw yesterday, and of course it's been out all on the internet that is Austin Theory. And it's just one of the things, because we talked about it a little bit before we went live, like the internet, like, and I had no problem with spoilers, but sometimes like something like this should not be leaked. We should not know who's the possible max man.
Agreed.
Because it's like, okay, when he finally takes the mask off and it's Austin Theory, where's the shock factor gonna be at? Because it's been rumored or it's been leaked all over the internet that it's him. But I did read this. They said that if the mask man goes on into January, that it could possibly be Chris Jericho.
Okay.
it's going to be interesting. I think that WWE needs to change who this masked man is going to be, because I think if he take the mask off in this Austin Theory, it's not going to be the reaction that they want.
No, I don't think it is either. Which is disappointing for Theory because he's got so much talent and could thrive in a spot like that. But yeah, as fans, the shock factor is gone. Excuse me. I agree. I think if they put someone else in there, maybe even bring someone up from NXT.
Yeah.
Have somebody from NXT fill that role.
And I heard a couple of those names was rumored to be in the vision. I think that's when they was like kind of putting the group together. But I know I heard Ricky Saint's name. I seen his name in a few articles, and also saw All Ego Ethan Page too.
Yes.
But I think they gonna try as long as possible to keep Ethan Page and Chelsea Green together. They got a nice little chemistry together.
I agree. That's a fun little story that they're putting together there.
Definitely. Well, CZ, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It was cool hearing your story and talking about wrestling and stuff. Before we get out of here, any shout outs or you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Absolutely. Most social media platforms, we are at CSTC Podcast. Our entire library is on YouTube on that same designation. You can hear us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Find us on Facebook at Cards Subject to Change Podcast. I appreciate you having me on, Mike. It's been a lot of fun talking with you.
Oh, no problem. You know, I always love to have new guests, even returning guests. And we've been on the No Sale Roundtable for a couple of times, so I know you had reached out, and I had no problem. And I thank you for coming on, and somewhere down the line, I come on your show and talk wrestling with you guys.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
For sure. And before I get up out of here, just want to thank everybody that watched today's episode. We got one more episode for the year, and that's coming next week. That'll be at a special time at 9:00. It's gonna be kind of like a year review episode. Of course, it's gonna be me and the brothers from WSN, Sam, Professor Bear, Joe Monroe. But like always, cars subject to change. You know what I'm saying? So things could change. But yeah, next week's episode will definitely be the last episode for the year. We will be back sometime in January, but in those 2 weeks that I will be out, I'm going to put a post on Facebook looking for new guests for 2026. So you want to be a guest on Wrestling from the 313, just go to Facebook. Just look out for Facebook. That post will be coming up soon, maybe within the next couple of days or so. Get that started for 2026. I'm excited. Have returning guests, have new guests, and just really, just make it happen here in this wrestling in the IWC. So for my guests, the CZ, the Wizard, I am Mike D. For Wrestling from the 313. I will see you next week. Be safe out here. If you're out in the cold, be warm. Just enjoy your night and enjoy this week. Peace.